Good day. I'm sorry not to be with you at this momentous meeting, but delighted to be able to join you by the magic of modern communications. My name is Martin Palmer. I'm the CEO of Faith Invest. And about almost 3 years ago now, I think it was, I met Mafalda at a conference we were hosting in Geneva, where we were looking at the way in which the faiths could actually cooperate in order to use their enormous stakeholder role as investors in shaping a better world. And it was one of those wonderful moments where Mafalda just turned up and suddenly discovered, and I think it would be fair to say, that it was the first time that she had really appreciated the fact that the faiths themselves are major investors, that we are, as faiths, stakeholders in the planet. And her immediate challenge was, well, this is fantastic. Why are the faiths not more engaged at a real big infrastructure level in helping to create the world that all our faith teachings in various and different ways tell us is absolutely essential? And there was this sense, I think, from Mafalda that she was delighted to discover there was this enormous wealth in the faiths, but was surprised at how little she was aware of that in the international development and investment world. And so from that, we began to talk, and we began to look at the fact there was no easy vehicle that would enable the faiths as investors to engage through due diligence having been done with a body that would say this is a worthwhile project, that they could then bring substantial capital to the market to assist. And when we began to talk about the role of SIF and the role of Faith Invest, we realized that we had the potential for creating a mechanism. SIF has the knowledge, the experience of doing due diligence, of discernment on mega infrastructure development projects, addressing all the key issues that absolutely are at the heart of the faiths in terms of sustainability in the environment, energy, food security, land restoration, and so forth. We could bring many of the really big players, the really large faith investment groups with their scores of billions of dollars, to bring them into that market if we could find a way in which they could invest with essentially a low risk and a low return. And one of the great things about faiths is that we invest for a long period. One of my favorite fund managers, Gunilla Hon of the Church of Sweden, says, we invest for eternity, and when people laugh, she says, no, I mean that. So there is a long-term perspective in the faiths, but there is also a certain caution. There has always been a slight tension between God and mammon in many of the religions, and this has led to almost a sort of underground movement of the religious investment world, which really didn't want to stick its head above the parapet too much. But that's changing. And this proposal of a multi-faith just transition fund is potentially one of the biggest ways that this can move forward. With the knowledge, the skills of SIF, as well as some of the international development banks, along with potential interest in providing concessionary investment from sovereign wealth, we are beginning to build a structure that would enable the faiths to be major players, putting in $1 billion plus into a fund that would then be able to leverage probably 5 to 7 times that because the faiths were involved from other sectors, that would then be possible to work alongside, for example, the Islamic Development Bank or alongside SIF in order to provide the kind of depth of finance that is needed to make a real difference. So we are extremely excited to be able to announce today that we're launching the Multi-Faith Just Transition Fund. We are going into now the deep research stage of finding out who will invest, how this will be managed. It will be a new organization that will be supported by both SIF and by Faith Invest, but will be autonomous. But most of all, I think what really excites me is that we are looking at setting up a structure which enables the faiths to use their stakeholder role to do what all our traditions say we should be doing. We should be investing for people and planet. We should be able to do what the Pope has called care for our common home. And we know from the scale of the challenges that we're hearing about day after day here at Sharm el Sheikh, but all around the world, that the scale of the challenges require a combined partnership of the willing that has never, ever been tried before, never been more necessary. And we welcome you to join us. Come and help us make this happen.